The dream as a founder is to build a business that continues to run and grow even when you step away. And that's what we're committed to helping you do. And that's what the journey I'm on and the mission I'm on to do that for my own business. And so with that said, welcome back to another episode of the Founder Talk Podcast, the realest room in entrepreneurship. Today's guest is Dr. Daniel Tataje, founder of Mercy Dental Group, and someone that came here as a young immigrant facing daunting obstacles to a multi-practice business owner leading over 135 team members while staying rooted in a mission of service, humility, and purpose. Daniel, welcome to the show. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Feeling good?
It's just so great to be here finally, right? So it's great.
I appreciate you coming down. Do you got your water? Oh, you got it.
I have my
okay.
water, yeah.
Okay,
here.
Cool. Just want to make sure if you need to stay hydrated, you stay hydrated. So some of the things we're going to discuss today, if you're wondering, which I'm excited to get into this, is a few highlights, and then I'm sure we're going to get into much more as things go on. But some interesting stories and wisdom from your journey as an immigrant to a leader of 135 team members. What skills, leadership, and systems do you need to go from one practice or business to 12, 13, including the non-for-profit? How do you stay grounded in your mission and purpose, but still grow quickly? A lot of people struggle with that, a lot of founders. The secret of building a business that can run and grow even when you step away, which obviously is a big part of this show. And your book, which I got here in front of me, you should be able to see on the both camera angle here, which you just recently dropped a few months ago, called The Leader Humanity Needs.
That's
and
right.
So much more. Before we get into that, can we go back in time a little bit? You came here from Peru when you were 25 years old.
Yes.
You were kind of licensed to practice dentistry there, and then you come here. And I don't want to say you had to start over, but you had to start at a kind of a different level. Is that right? What was that like?
Yeah, it was, in a sense, it wasn't necessarily planned, right? My plan was to just come here to the U.S. to experience, to have that year of experience in the dental field. I took some classes and stuff, and then I was supposed to go back to Peru, but one thing led to another. I met my wife, and I decided that it was a good idea to continue to be here and stay here. But it was hard because choosing to stay here was choosing to not being able to practice dentistry. I was working in the dental field, but I didn't have a license to practice dentistry here. So I was a dentist, but I wasn't practicing dentistry, which was frustrating, but also was a great thing that happened to me because I experienced all positions within dentistry, all that I could. So meaning I was a dental assistant, I was a dental technician at some point, and I was able to, I was used to work at the front desk, answering calls, dealing with patients, insurance, all the things that now I use or that allowed me to empathize, to just learn every aspect of the business of dentistry. And that's what I do today.
Mm-hmm. And what made you want is obviously they offered you something or there was an opportunity, but was it a little bit tricky to have that conversation with yourself and decide, well, I could go back there and kind of start practicing dentistry, or I could come here and have to do years of probably work and rebuild and things like that.
Yeah.
What was really selling you about staying here?
Yeah. So there was a little bit more certainty, right? So in terms of a future. In Peru, with my dental license and all, you don't have any necessarily guarantees. It's a different world because the business is different. And so here there was more opportunity. Even as a dental technician or a dental assistant, I thought it was more secure. I was going to be better off than if I go back to Peru and practice dentistry. So, and I also enjoyed and really liked the way dentistry is practiced. Dentistry is the same everywhere, right? So the science is the same, but the way you practice dentistry is different than it was in Peru. And I love the practice setting in the U.S., the business structure. So that's the reason why I decided to stay. And, as an immigrant, you don't necessarily think, this is my life I'm going to. So you think 1 year at a time. You think, well, I'm just going to stay. If anything goes wrong, I go back. Right? So it's not that I was thinking, okay, I'm going to spend the rest of my life here in the U.S. So that made it a little bit easier, I guess. So
if the 25-year-old Daniel was sitting here and I said, Daniel, I'm coming from the future. You're going to have 12, 13 practices that you own. You're going to be an entrepreneur. You're going to be a best-selling book writer, an author, and you're going to be doing podcasts, and you're going to have wealth and health and all this stuff. What would you say?
I would have not believed you.
Really?
Yeah, definitely not. Because, there were so many things, so many obstacles to get there. And
learning English is obviously one of them, right?
Yeah, definitely. And definitely that one. And yeah, so it was such an unlikely, not probable dream, right? So that, definitely not. But it's funny how one thing led to another, and one even the most difficult moments in our lives, and that's what I argue in my book. All those things make you greater and make you give you the tools that you will need in the future, whatever, even the negative thing. So that's when I talk about the marks of leadership. When I say positivity, it's not pretending that things are or ignoring the bad things. Is understanding that even the bad things that happen in your life or the difficulties that you experience are the things that you're gonna be using at some point to impact the lives of someone else.
What was one of the more difficult things that you experienced making that transition and even being here for a few years? Other than the obvious language barrier, which I just couldn't imagine moving to Peru or Mexico or somewhere else or Europe or wherever and having to learn a whole new language. That'd be a process. But what was maybe one of the biggest challenges that you went through that shaped kind of who you are today?
Yeah. So there are multiple challenges, but just walking into the unknown, right? So you just don't not knowing what to expect or what the future looks like necessarily. But obviously, that the language barrier was there, but yeah, so just not being able to practice dentistry was definitely the biggest challenge, because I was capable, I was well trained, and in some occasions, I will work with dentists and I will feel like, oh my gosh, I am better than some. It's not
right.
It's not that I was cocky or anything like that,
but for the truth,
but it's
right?
And I felt like it was, it wasn't fair.
Yeah.
Right. So.
And what would you have had to done at that time to become a dentist? Was that your goal originally? Going back.
So my goal was to just go back to school, but
that would have been how long?
But it's easier said than done, because it would have been going back from scratch. So
which is frustrating because you feel like you're ready. You already are a dentist.
That's
basically.
right.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, but there are some programs for foreign dentists that you can, but it was very difficult for me to just take off and move, because we had a family already. It was like my life wasn't, ideal. I couldn't just move and become a student again. I needed to generate an income and do something. So I had to just work with what I had, and see, I couldn't. But yeah, this it was funny too, because if I'm thinking about it, if I would have been able to go through that process, probably I definitely wouldn't be where I am.
Mm-hmm.
I not able to practice dentistry directly, but I practice dentistry through my people.
You own 13
right now,
so you don't need to practice.
And I am, and I still mentor them. I still I'm very grateful for my own training and what I went through. Like, I love dentistry. I'm a great clinician, which helps me, lead other dentists and just create a great dental experience for our patients.
There's a philosophy where it's like, maybe it's a saying where they say, don't judge yourself for where you're at today. Too many people say, I'm here today, or I'm this age, I'm doing this, or I'm not where I want to be in my business or my life or my career or my financial situation. And I think everyone has a little bit aspect of that story where it's like, if you take this moment in time in your life or your career, it can be difficult, it can be challenging, but if you just hang on and continue to get better and continue to improve yourself and give back and try to do good, where you're going to see yourself in 6 months, you may not know. In 6 years, it might completely blow you away. And in your case, you couldn't have fathomed what you did. And it's not even like you set out to, I'm going to have this big dream to come to America and build these practices and write a book one day. You just said, I'm going to come here and make something of myself, create an opportunity for myself and others, and let's see where it goes.
That's
and
right.
It took you to some amazing places.
Yeah, sometimes we make the mistake of setting just huge goals, right? So, and that's fine. You can dream, but the real goal should be, today I have to be better than yesterday, and tomorrow I'll be better than today. So, and that's my life. I never had necessarily huge goals. Yeah, I had dreams again, but even when I started the business, my goal was to make one practice great. I had 4 employees, a small practice, and that was all. Like, I wanted this practice to be the best.
You didn't think at that point, like, I'm going to start another one, do another one, and no. Interesting.
No, it was just to create the best patient experience, to use the business, that little practice as a tool to make a positive impact in the world. So, and that's what I always encourage entrepreneurs to do, to see their business as a tool, not a tool to create wealth, a tool to make a positive impact in the world. So it's a mission-oriented leadership in business. So your business should be your vehicle to impact and touch the lives of people, starting with your employees and the people that you serve.
Yeah.
In our case, dentistry, of course, provides a great opportunity to just use our talents to impact, make someone feel better and impact the lives of our patients. But yeah, so
there's so many different ways to do it. I feel like you talk to some people and they're like, you got to have huge goals and you got to have a vision board and you got to do this. And for some people that works. And other people, it's just like, I just kind of took one day at a time, got what was better than I was yesterday, had something I was working towards, and here we are. And I think it's just like everyone's a little bit different in terms of how we get there and the journey that we take. And I think that's kind of cool.
Well, you have to challenge yourself. Like, you have to, like I said, the fact that you don't have, like, you can, again, dream, but and have a big goal, but really what we need is to just challenge ourselves to be better today than yesterday, and just continue to advance. You always have to advance, because your life is a gift, and your talents and all the things that you have, and the people that invested something in your life they gave you a gift, right? Like, so I'm a result of a lot of people's sacrifices. My parents, myself, my professors, the people that have impacted my life. And when you receive a gift, the best thing you can do to say thank you is to use the gift.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So let's use our gift. Let's continue to advance. So it's not. I don't want to sound like, oh yeah, you should just settle for where you are, not have don't have ambition, right? But it is definitely a responsibility. You have to continue.
I agree. I think growth and fulfillment are the two kind of big, maybe, pillars that I like to live on. In terms of, if you're growing every day and you're fulfilled every day and you're doing what lights you up and what makes your heart and soul happy, and you're continuing to improve and build skill sets, I think you're on a pretty damn good path, regardless of what that is, if you're doing those things. But if you're not growing and you're not fulfilled, that's typically when you feel stuck. That's typically when you feel depressed, you're suffering, it doesn't feel good because you feel like, I'm not growing to the next level. I'm not doing something that really lights me up and gets me excited.
Yeah.
So you've got the one practice at this point. You've started your own practice. Was that a big move for you? Because, you're immigrant coming here, you're learning English. Now all of a sudden you're a business owner?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I was working at a dental practice for 10 years before that happened, and I was able to, experience and learn a lot. And because of my me being a consultant and working in different dental settings with different with different practice owners, with all kinds of settings that provided this view of what the ideal practice could be, right? So I wanted to take the good things of every place I experienced.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever I decided to jump on and do this, it was definitely scary, right? So
Was there a
for
moment
me,
that you were like, I'm going to start my own business?
yeah, I felt like I reached the top of what I could do in dentistry, and in business, and I thought, well, I can do this. But for years, I thought about that, but I was always afraid.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, no, I'm not necessarily like, I didn't consider myself a business person, which,
Yeah.
I was wrong.
And you had
But
kids at this time?
yeah,
Yeah. So you got dependents. I was the same way. It's like, hey, I had 2 daughters. You have 2 sons?
I have 6 kids now.
6 kids. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
My wife was pregnant of number 5 when we started the business. And
So you got some responsibilities, right?
It was not the best moment, right?
Yeah.
And I always tell people, it's never the right moment.
Yeah, that's so true.
If you wait for the perfect moment to start something or respond to a call like that, you will
You'll
wait
just
forever.
die not doing it, right?
Exactly. So it was definitely scary, daunting. I had to learn a lot, and I worked a lot. I basically, when I started, I had 2 jobs. I had to take a pay cut. It wasn't easy.
Really?
Because the business wasn't given enough to cover what I was making at the other dental practice. So I started working part-time there and part-time there. I used to work Monday through Sunday and doing wearing a lot of hats, right? So my wife, of course, was a part of it. She has dental experience. We started this together, and we worked very hard, but with a clear mission. We wanted to use the business for good, and that vision started, resonating with the dentists, with the people there at our practice. We doubled the size of the business. We doubled the revenue within a year.
Wow.
Was very successful. And then the dentist across the street reached out because he wanted to transition his practice with us. He had other offers from DSOs and stuff, but he heard great things from the dentist that I bought the practice from. And so we started talking, and acquired the practice across the street, and then we merged those 2 practices into one building. I did a construction and a beautiful building there. And like that, other people reached out. They heard about what I was doing, and I acquired 17 practices in 9 years.
Wow.
And we merged them into now that 13 locations we have. But none of those practices were something that I was looking for. Like, I was not there set to acquire practices. It was always a referral or someone that reached out. So just doing the right thing.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that. Taking care of your clients and your people and doing the right thing.
That's
What
right.
would you, other than that, what would you attribute that success, that early success to? Seems like, within a year you guys doubling, then you're getting this other practice. Something you guys must have been doing in the business that was creating that type of value and that type of growth.
Yeah, so the business model in general, the way we see things, is that we want to preserve what the greatness of our practice, the personality and whatever, and then we come in and just add to it. So we don't come and we don't have a cookie cutter model where we can just go and make this practice something else. We just make this practice greater. We fill the gaps, and we just, with our values, of course. And that's what we did. We came in and to this practice that wasn't as successful as it could be when we acquired it, but it had the heart in the right place. This doctor was building relationships, was building great trust with the patients, and he really, really cared about them, build personal relationships and all that. So I was like, we're aligned. This is great. We just need to let the world know that this is who we are.
So I was going to ask, why wasn't his business growing or his practice growing? What mistakes was he making that you guys could come in and fix?
Yeah, so he wasn't so he wasn't he wasn't presenting himself and the practice the way it was, the way it is, right? So he even when he was he has his practice for sale. He had a practice for sale for 2 years in Madison. That is unheard of. So people were judging his presence, the way the practice looked. It was completely outdated. He's just had no technology. The building wasn't necessarily appealing or pretty right. Like technology wasn't there. So all these things but I saw the potential because he had this great relationships. He was a great clinician, but he wasn't a conventional looking dentist necessarily. He had a long hair, a long beard, and yeah, it was just that. So what I did, I just created the brand and the identity. It was more like intentional in presenting the message. So marketing played a big role, and the best thing is that marketing works when it's true, and all I had to do was to present the real message. Mm-hmm. This is who we are, and this is what we stand for, and then create not only promise things, but actually fulfill those promises, right? So I always tell my employees, there is a difference between reputation and character. Reputation is what people perceive of you, and character is who you are. Mm. If I have to pick one, I'll pick character, because character builds a great reputation automatically. So I created the identity, and I wanted to make sure that everyone understood this identity, and this is who we are. And even now I tell our employees, read the website, why is it that these patients are coming to your practice, coming to see you? Because we make promises. This is what we tell them. This is what we say that we are, mm-hmm. right? So make sure that you deliver that. This isn't authentic, right? Yeah. So I think that that authenticity was what made us successful in the first year.
Now, does that mean new patients are coming in because they're seeing content, or they're going to the website and it's actually a good experience? Are people coming back where maybe they didn't have as good of retention? Like, how did that show up in a business standpoint? I'm curious.
Yeah, so the word of mouth was huge.
Did he cut his beard?
No.
No, okay.
No, he just started wearing a
little better dress.
Better dress. Not jeans and boots.
I don't want to change who you are, but we got to upgrade a little bit.
Definitely, yeah. Let's wear the scrubs and the white coat and mm-hmm. stuff like that. But yeah, he did not change who he was. And actually, the first year I hired this great dentist that was so aligned with what we believed, and she was fantastic, and it was, she was God sent. Mm. And I was able to work with all that and the staff, and I was leading the business, leading the culture, providing the customer service that was necessary. Of course, Scarlett, my wife, was a big part of it too. But yeah, so training, inspiring people to follow our vision was key, definitely.
How do you get employees to follow a vision or be excited about the mission that you're on as a company? And you try to hire good people with good character and good background and things like that, but then get them in here and get them to get excited. And I don't want to say as excited as you, the founder, because that's pretty hard to do, and you got to be realistic with that. They're not going to work as hard as you probably. But how do you get employees excited about what you're doing and really bought in at just a whole nother level?
By getting excited yourself about your mission. Really believe it. Really know that what you're doing is great. So that's the first step for that I recommend entrepreneurs to do. What is it that your company is doing? What is the mission of the company? And once you find it, get excited about it. You are the first follower of that mission, of that, right? So you're the visionary, but you are a follower too. And if you don't believe in this mission, no one will believe this. So sometimes we start backwards in the business world. We think that the business is there to create wealth, so. And the way I see it is yes, it's important to create wealth, but that is a byproduct of your mission. So the business is a vehicle, and you have a responsibility with the business. You have to build a great, stable, financially stable business, because otherwise your mission dies. But it is what's first, right? So the mission or the result of that, and it can't be a strategy. So that's another thing. Some things that we do in business are seen or you do them for strategy, trying to get a result.
Right.
I do all these things because it's my duty as a leader. I have to lead my people. I'm responsible for these people. My decisions affect a lot of families. So I have to understand that I am here to serve. That's the concept of servant leadership that we hear more these days. Servant leadership, but really, you being a servant of the people, the servant of the business, the servant of the mission is key.
So if you're a founder listening right now and you feel like your team's maybe just doesn't seem as excited, they're showing up, they're kind of going through the motions almost. Maybe you got one employee that's excited, but the others are kind of like dragging their feet a little bit. Your thought process is, hey, make sure the mission is, one, ultra clear. And then number two, make sure you're excited about it. You're talking about it, but you're also living it. Not just talking about it, you're being about it, right? And then your thought process is that the right people will join you, get excited about it, and want to help you accomplish that mission.
100%. That the culture is not built out of some sort of strategy again.
Yeah.
It's built out of identity. You have to have a clear identity, and you have to see your business as a tool to impact the world, right?
When I was at corporate, I worked for a big multi-billion-dollar company for 6 years, and it just seemed like every year and it was a high-performing team, and I learned a lot there. I'm grateful for the experience, but it seemed like every year was kind of like, all right, this is the number. And it was just like, and I just never got excited about it. It's like, well, obviously we were on commission and things like that, so we wanted to hit our goals, take care of our family. We wanted to grow, but it was just kind of like hard to get excited about it. To your point, it was just like, all right, so here's the new number.
Yeah.
And like the boss man was excited because he would have a huge bonus if they hit it and that kind of stuff, which I understand. But for us, it was kind of like, all right, like it just didn't do anything to me.
Yeah.
I didn't feel anything behind it.
Yeah. Because numbers are there, but are important, but you need to know why.
Right.
So the why of the business is that you need to work on why do we want to generate this or generate these numbers, and the whole purpose of this numbers is because you have to exist, you have to advance your mission. I firmly believe that the people that are impacted by Mercy Dental are in a better position than if they are impacted by another DSO. And I have the responsibility to exist. And I have to see the sacrifices. I have to see and value the talents of the people that make Mercy Dental great. And take responsibility of it and being like acting and remembering all these sacrifices when I make decisions. So in a way, you were talking about fulfillment, but what fulfillment is, finding fulfillment is one of the biggest or most important questions to answer. How do you find that fulfillment? And what is fulfillment? Right? Sometimes we chase the wrong thing to find fulfillment. And sometimes in business, trying to generate, wealth or just of finding fulfillment in money is the wrong target.
Yeah. What is fulfillment to you?
Fulfillment is to use your talents for the service of others. To use all the great things that you can produce, including your company, and put it to the service of others. And I found this, I kind of like went through my own journey, and I found this out the hard way, So I grew up in poverty with, a lot of limitations, and I thought, at some point, like I need to work hard, I need to study, I need to apply myself, I need to do all these things to get out of this situation. And whenever I reach this level of wealth or comfort, I will be happy.
Right.
So you think that way.
A lot of people, most people do.
Yeah. And then you kind of like, when you reach that, you know that you don't find that fulfillment that you were expecting. And then for me, I had to kind of like reset and understand. And that's where I understood, that using my talents for the betterment of the world, of the people, using my business, using my situation, all this stuff that I was creating and put it at the service of people is what will bring true fulfillment.
Yeah.
So in my book, I give the example of the dog races.
Here's the book, guys. Go buy the book. Go check it out. It's on Amazon, right? You can check it out right now. Get it. The Leader Humanity Needs. Okay. Anyways, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, of course. So so I give this analogy with dog races. When if you have been or have seen a dog race, they chase this fake rabbit, right? So and they just run with all their hearts to just get it, and they don't realize it's fake. But sometimes a dog reaches the rabbit and bites on it and realizes it's fake. And that dog never races again.
Oh, wow.
Because it loses motivation if it finds out that it's a fake rabbit.
Oh, I never heard that.
And that's how I found myself. I reached the rabbit and I realized it was fake. I had to kind of like restart and reset. Like I realized how selfish I became. And I said, no, this is not life. This is not fulfilling. Because what we truly are trying to get is love. And love without sacrifice, love without suffering is not real love. Love without putting yourself, denying yourself for the sake of others. That's true. That's real love. And that is like I encourage people in the book, like live your life for others. Use your talents for the world. Be light in the darkness. That's why we have here in the cover, the light overcoming the darkness, because the leader humanity needs is actually the reader. I want the reader to understand their worth, their power, their value, and how they can light up the world. And inspire others to be light too. So imagine if everyone will become the leader humanity needs, the world will be a better place.
That's well said. The chip on your shoulder only takes you so far. At some point, because I had a different background than you, but early challenges. And, that chip kind of, I'm going to make it, I'm going to prove this and this wrong, I'm going to have money, I'm going to, that only takes you so far. Because then when you do start to see some success and maybe you are a little bit more comfortably financially and you're not struggling to pay for groceries for your kids, you get to a point where you can go out to dinner and you don't worry about how much it's going to cost or, oh shit, I don't have $150, which is nice. Everyone wants to be there where you don't have to, worry about paying your next bill tomorrow, or you can't afford your rent this month or house mortgage, whatever it is. But when you do get there, you kind of realize, okay, now that's satisfied. But now what? Exactly. it's like that was kind of a survival necessity type thing that I wanted to accomplish, but there's got to be more to this, because I don't have a desire to buy a Rolex or to get a Ferrari or nothing. There's nothing wrong with that if you do, but there's nothing material that is going to light me up. It's going to have to come from some type of mission or fulfillment or giving back. And the second part of this is I've always found in me personally, when I'm in my toughest moments, and I find myself kind of surrendering in a spiritual way, I find myself saying, stop thinking about yourself, Alex. Even though you're going through a challenge here, or whether it be in the business, personally, whatever it is, stop the focus on yourself, shift it to other people. And I always tell my kids, I've said this a million times, you guys probably heard on the podcast, but one of the things I say to my kids all the time is, ask not what you can get from the world, but ask what you can give. Yes. And when you do look outwards, because it's easy to get in your own head, it's easy to start thinking about what's Alex's, what's Daniel's problem, what's our problem,
Yes.
But the moment, that doesn't really serve you that well. The moment you say, let me think about who I can make an impact on today. Let me see who I can brighten up their day. Let me see who I can give something to someone that I don't expect anything in return. I'm just going to give them, and that's it. And man, I've just found that to be a better life living that way. And actually, it all comes back. Funny enough,
that's right.
It all comes back.
That's
it
right.
It all works out. Let it all work out. Yeah.
And we all have, like if you see, like I see a lot of guys when you, in social media when they talk about entrepreneurship, and then they appeal to this, this material.
Yeah, most of them are broke
right?
too.
Like, so they're driving the car, they're wearing the
they're renting the car,
the Rolex and all that, and it's they're because we're trying to find fulfillment in the wrong place again, but
when I see that, I know someone's lost.
Yeah, appeal to our greed, right? Yeah. So, but greed is a distortion of something good.
Yeah.
Right. So this ambition that we should have, if it gets distorted, it gets like if you make it selfish, it becomes greed. But if this ambition is a good thing, because you have to have this desire to do good, right? So to do good to others, and that's what I see these two sides of the same virtue, right? So, well, I guess one is a virtue, one's a vice, and ambition and greed are not the same.
Yeah.
Right. So I always tell people, mission first, live your life for others, and that is how you find fulfillment.
So you have 135 team members, employees. That's a lot of people that you oversee. You've got these 13 different practices now that are running. And I think you are here today doing what a lot of founders want to do. I literally talk to some founders, and they're so busy that it's like to meet with a group or do something outside of their business for an hour or two seems like I don't have the time. It's like, how do I squeeze out this 1 minute or 30 minutes or an hour? And I'm like, man. And a lot of them are successful, to give them credit. They're growing their businesses. They're doing their thing. I'm happy for them, whatever. But you're here and you're able to spend this time creating demand, talking about the book, being on podcasts, building brand, doing a lot of the things that I think a lot of founders listening want to do, but they are scared they might, lose their business if they step away too long. So what do you think is the secret to building a business that can run and even grow without you?
Yes, it is inspiring and empowering other people. So when I talk about the 7 marks of leadership in my book, one of them is teamwork. Right? When we talk about teamwork, I mean, everyone knows what teamwork is. But what I say, well, I start with saying that everyone is unique and everyone is, so that is one of the marks of leadership. That's respect. That's understanding that everyone has unlimited potential. They're equipped with talents and all those things and experiences that make them great. And now, when we get to teamwork, it's just trusting in other people's capabilities, right? So we talk about delegation in the business world and saying, okay, you have to delegate so you can do more things. But that's true, but it's a selfish reason if you think about it. So what I encourage people to do is to just see it as your duty. You have to inspire and empower other people to flourish, to grow, to continue to advance in their own career. So it's a selfless reason, right? So, and that's for me, the reason why I'm able to do all these things or even run a successful business is because I have been able to inspire talented people that believe in this mission. Sometimes those people bring me back to the mission because they are like, I see them and I get inspired from them because they believe in something that, I created, but sometimes I need that encouragement, right? So the secret and the reason why I'm able to just continue to run a business is because I have complete trust in the people that that are running the business for me. And in certain areas, I see it as my duty to empower them to do something that they can do better than me.
So where do most business owners go wrong then when it comes to, I have a business, but I can't step out of it and let people run it. I need to be at the epicenter of the business 24/7. If I leave, it's going to fall apart or not grow. Or what are these business owners getting wrong, that maybe you got right? We talked about teamwork and empowering, but someone might listen to this and say, I do empower my team. Like I do give them the rings and that kind of stuff. Is there something else they might be missing?
It's so control is definitely a mistake, but it comes from perfectionism a lot of times. You want to do things a certain way and you want it your way, but you don't necessarily see that other people sometimes might be better than you at certain things. So I tell my team, always my leadership team at the companies, like, my gosh, you guys are so talented. You have something. You're like the Avengers. You each have a superpower and powers that I don't have. So my role is to just put people in the right seats and see them flourish, right? So the mistake is not letting go out of fear. I
think sometimes that fear comes from, and I've had this happen to me before, where it's not like you're almost just worried about the client because you're worried like, oh, if they don't get Daniel or Alex, the client's gonna be like, well, I signed up to get this, and now I'm getting somebody else, and you kind of get paranoid about that sometimes. I think a lot of founders listening too is like, I got to be in those client meetings, I got to do this because if I step away, they're gonna be like, well, hey, wait a second, I signed up for you, and now I'm getting someone else. Mm-hmm. What do you say to that?
Yeah, because that's a lack of identity of the business. Again, if you don't have a clear mission, a clear vision for the business, and a clear set of core values, people will get a different experience with different people because we're all different.
Yeah.
But we are united by these values. This is our identity as a group, and we will use our talents to enhance this and to advance this mission. So my talents contribute to the same thing, which is this clear mission. So you start with mission, and then provide the tools. And that's the reason why I came up with the 7 marks of leadership, for example, because I did experience this exponential growth, and I realized I can't be everywhere, right? So with my first team, there are only 4 employees. I have full influence. I can solve problems with patients and patients that didn't have a great experience and they were complaining. I can solve these problems. But then when this happened rapidly, but we were like at 5 locations and I could just not be everywhere and control everything. So I realized I have to create leaders, right? So, but not leaders at leadership positions, leaders at every position. So that's where I came up with this idea. It's like everyone has the ability to move someone to a better place, to be a good influence, to be light in the darkness and all these things. So I needed to raise leaders, and the 7 marks of leadership is the toolbox. This is how you become a leader. This is how you embrace this identity that we have as a company. So that's I guess the secret, right? Mm-hmm. So I have complete trust that that everyone is following this set of values.
I appreciate you going a layer or two deep, because I think people hear this, especially founders. It's like, what's the key to growing the business? Without you being there, and everyone kind of says you got to empower your people, you got to be able to lead, you got to be able to have a mission, and all that stuff is true. But I feel like because people have heard it so much, they're like, well, yeah, I know this, but it's like they're not doing it though.
Yeah.
And what you just said there is like, because I've experienced this too. Well, what if the client doesn't, they signed up to work with me maybe, and now they're working with somebody else who's like an advisor. And but when you said what you just said, which is you don't have a mission, the values aren't there.
Yeah.
Because the client should feel that. They should know what we're doing together as a unit, as a powerful mission moving forward. It doesn't matter. Everyone kind of does their part, but it moves together. It's not dependent on one person. It's not a one-person show. That's more of a job. That's not really a company.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. It is, again, being inspired by your mission yourself, and just you following that will inspire others to follow. You living your life the way you want your employees to be. Just be an example. Don't ask something you can't or are not willing to do.
So let me give you an example here. I'm curious what your take is, since I would consider you an expert in this space. So I've been running, to give you context, I've been running a marketing company for the last few years. And it's more consulting, advisory, strategy, that kind of stuff, helping companies build their own in-house content team so they don't necessarily need a marketing agency. Mm-hmm. Then I started this other company just recently called Podcast Builders. It's more of a local company. Founders are going to come in here. They're going to run their podcast. We're going to do all the editing. It's more team. It's less of me eventually. And I'm going to have to grow and hire people to run the production here and that kind of stuff, which is what I want to do. I'm excited about it. But as I think about my mission, and maybe I have not given it enough thought, and I will after this conversation for sure, but I feel like maybe the mission here is I want to empower people that they have a voice and a story to share. And sometimes you just got to grab a mic, and you got to get a camera, and you got to talk about the things that are happening in your environment, your industry, your world, with your team. And if you do those types of things, it can expand your opportunities. It can expand your relationships. I mean, one of the reasons I started this podcast was because it is such a good relationship builder. After you sit down with someone for a half an hour, whatever it is, you just have a connection with them. It's different.
That's right.
There's like a friendship almost made. It's like really powerful. I think in person, virtual is a little bit tougher to have that. But that's kind of where I go. It's like own the conversation. It's like get out there and have a voice in the community, bring people together, start conversations, build relationships. That's probably a little bit all over. Mm-hmm. But what do you think about that, hearing that? Is there something there? Am I close?
For sure. What you're doing is a lot of what I preach,
Yeah.
So you're understanding that everyone's path is valuable. Everyone's unique approach and experience is valuable, and it's worth sharing, so it takes humility for that, of course, to know that your view or your experiences are not necessarily all that there is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the mission is still, you want to advance. You want to use this as a tool, as a powerful tool to impact other business owners. I mean, in business, we have so much responsibility, right? Like, so we have the power to influence people as leaders, our decisions and our things. We have to use this, our position as business owners, business leaders, to make the world a better place, right? So you're leading with that. You are inspiring business leaders and empower them to help other people grow.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I like sometimes sharing, just being a little bit vulnerable and sharing what I'm going through. Because, sometimes we like that. We got everything figured out. I have everything figured out. I got the mission. I got the business plan. I got this. And we do have a lot of good things figured out. But there are some things where it's like, hey, I'm not 100% there yet. And I'd like to learn from people. And that's one more reason I think podcasts are great, because you get to learn from other people. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I should write a damn book after this, interviewing hundreds of founders and just, hearing their stories and what they're going through and their lessons. If you really pick up on them and you're curious and you want to learn, that's amazing. Yeah. It's like a free MBA.
Yeah, but you're a humble person, which is a key, the king of all virtues, I call it. And that is one of the 7 marks of leadership. It's actually the one that encompasses it all. Like,
really?
It is, if you're not humble, you can't lead.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
You have to you have to know that you don't know it all. You have to know that you don't have all the talents that other people have.
Right.
You have to know that you're not more important than anyone else.
That's the truth. What made you want to write this book, The Leader Humanity Needs, and why that title?
To be honest, was because I always so one thing I do, how to implement to make sure that everyone understands our identity is that I speak about those things all the time. I do, for example, new employee orientations where like I meet with every single new hire, and I do quarterly meetings with all the people that join the company, and I just preach the values. I just tell them why we have this set of values, which are the 7 marks of leadership, and I repeat this message all the time, and people say, "Oh my gosh, you should write a book," right? All the time. And I'm like, yeah, I'll write a book one day, joking. But I felt a sense of responsibility. I understand that I have some unique things, and also, of course, unique things to say, but also unique experiences that make me potentially a light in someone else's life. So sometimes we have to go through uncomfortable things to advance.
Almost
And
always.
Always.
Yeah.
Yes. Like to me, being a podcast is not the most comfortable thing necessarily, but I have a message. I have something to share, and I want to inspire other people to just do what I do. And writing a book for me was that I had a message to give, and I had to be not necessarily go out of my comfort zone to do it. And it was such a tremendous gift for me because it was such a great exercise to just go through this introspection, this remembering stories. There are a lot of stories, so I back up every claim with some either personal story or a story I know of someone that impacted my life. And it was such a beautiful gift in my life. So I recommend everyone to write a book if they can at some point in their life. But the Leader Humanity Needs title came up because I firmly believe that if people embrace their talents and embrace their experiences and understand their worth and use it for the good of others, the world will become a better place. And so that means that humanity needs your leadership. It needs you to become a leader. So again, the leader humanity needs is the reader. So it's a call. I guess the book is just is a call to action.
Love that. What's one thing that you've gotten wrong about leadership in the last few years, or one thing that maybe you're still working on as a leader?
Yeah, so something I got definitely wrong, and I mentioned it earlier, is that self-service leadership, just thinking the business belongs to me, that it is there for me to benefit from more than anyone else, and I guess using the business for a selfless reason, and luckily. Thank God I opened my eyes and I changed the view. And I started having a service mindset. And that's what led to the book and all that stuff.
Do you think anyone can have that change of view? Is there something that needs to happen for them to shift? Or it seems like one day it's like, boom, you just kind of see it. And maybe it's not one day, but all of a sudden you see the light, and it's like, wow, I've been looking at this thing the wrong way. Yeah.
So everyone you don't have to go through the mistakes to realize this. Some people unfortunately have to do that, but what I also argue in the book is, you have to be able, humble enough to use other people's experiences. So just and be smart enough to do that. So hopefully. And I'm writing a second book that is more on leadership with a framework and all that, leadership in business for entrepreneurs. And I just tell them a couple of things, hoping that they will avoid this difficulty.
Yeah, learn from your mistakes.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So
what's next for you then? Obviously, you've got this book, you've got another book you're writing. What are you focused? I'm curious where you want to spend your time, and what's driving you every day to get out of bed and stuff.
Yeah, I have multiple things going on. I'm just, I guess I can never stop. But Yeah. So first for Mercy Dental is just continue to spread our mission. We continue to make good decisions to continue to advance the business and to impact more people.
Now, how much? I'm actually curious. Sorry to interrupt. How much time do you spend in Mercy Dental?
Yeah, that's
the
my
business?
majority of my time.
Okay.
Right. So I do work.
But it's more from a leadership guidance level than it
Yes.
is in the weeds in the practice.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I have. Oh my gosh, I'm just blessed. I have so many wonderful, talented people that I'm just. I got to a point where I can just sit down and enjoy the ride, like seeing them solving problems, like, and they are so passionate about this.
It must feel good
If yes,
in a lot of ways.
it feels great because they love what they're doing. I love to see them doing it. I'm the visionary. I just make the decisions. They execute in a compassionate way and everything. Whatever we do with the identity, I have complete trust on their ability to deliver the mission. Right. So yeah, so I guess my job is not as difficult as it used to be in terms of like being the CEO of the company. So I do a lot of the boring stuff. I have to meet with accountants and lawyers and things like that, and just but not necessarily. I'm not super involved in operations, but of course I get reports and things, and I just make final decisions. But then I am enjoying a lot of the speaking and presenting these concepts and things and writing the books. And like what moves me right now is that I'm hoping that my story and the things that I share in the book and in my talks are inspire other people to be good. For me, like the industry, I want to impact the dental industry first, but any industry really, so that's what makes me excited today.
Very cool. Well, I appreciate you coming in. I really enjoyed this conversation. Where can people find you, connect with you, and learn more about what you do, obviously outside of the book?
Yeah, so they can go to my website, danieltataje.com. Is DanielTataje.com.
We'll link it up. Yeah.
They can find all kinds of things about Mercy Dental, our nonprofit arm. We didn't talk much about that today, but yeah, I have a lead a nonprofit. I also have a men's group that I lead. It's called Fathers for Christ, a spiritual formation group for men that integrates fitness, nutrition, and spiritual life. So it's very, very cool.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll link all that in the description. And Daniel, I appreciate it again. Thanks for coming out and happy to have you on the show.
No, thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.